All right. It is now the top of the hour. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rita Braxton. I'm the Senior Meetings Manager with the American Astronomical Society. We are excited to put on the virtual meeting coming up in just 2 short weeks. Myself and the meetings team, along with some of my counterparts, are here today. Ms. Debbie Kowalski, I know, is here. And we are just incredibly excited for you all to join our training today. We're going to turn it over to our great friends with Amuse to walk you through the iPoster process and what we can look forward for the 236 meeting. So if you have any questions, please use the chat function at the bottom of the screen. We will answer all questions at the end of today's session. So guys, we are ready to begin.
All right, the hour has struck. My name is Rick from iPoster Sessions, and the third voice you've heard is Isaac, my colleague.
Hello, everyone.
I'll be taking you through everything and look forward to any questions you might have at the end. What you're looking at here is the gallery screen from last year's, or actually it was this year. How time flies. It was back in January, the winter meeting in Hawaii. Many of you were possibly there or have attended other AAS meetings and seen the iPosters on site. The functionality will be exactly the same online. So if you've seen them or if you've created them, you'll understand that there's really not going to be that much difference. Although, of course, it's going to be organized differently. However, there will be iPoster and iPoster Plus presentations. What I thought I'd do now, for those of you who haven't seen the system or would just like a little reminder, is start with the functionality of the posters in terms of either visitors or presenters. What happens when you use the finished product, and then go back and take a tour of the system in terms of how you put together an iPoster. So as you may have seen or understand, these will be all of the presentations from the meeting. There'll be a new banner, AAS 236. You can browse through, scroll through the presentations as an attendee and find the ones that interest you. You can browse by sessions, and you can browse by poster types, and then you can also browse by presentation times, and Rita maybe can talk a little bit more about this later on if there are any questions about how that's going to be set up. You either find a poster that you like through one of the drop downs or by scrolling. I just go to enter one here because I'll show you a little bit about some of the multimedia capabilities. This is a poster from last year's conference. And two of the key multimedia functions are using videos and using sound files. And I really want to emphasize the possibilities of using sound, using the basic one of narrating your poster, but then there are other things that you can do with audio, which I'll get to in a little while. Sam Denker here has used both of them. His video is up here. When you, as you saw, if you are not familiar with this, when you click on a content box, it'll expand. When you click on a video, it'll play, and you can also click on the video to expand to full screen. I particularly like that video in this time of lockdown. You just want to kind of fly away on that balloon listening to that music. But that's the video function. You can use it for all kinds of things: documentation, creating visualizations, doing interviews. A number of our authors from other conferences have done videos of themselves, presenting themselves in their research. So take advantage of it. We use both YouTube and Vimeo as our video platforms. And there are tutorials, if you've never used either of those before, on how to load them up and how to transfer them to your iPoster. And also, if you have sensitive information, how you can restrict access so that the videos are not discoverable on either of those channels. And then the next thing I want to show you that Sam used is the narration function.
Bobcat 1 launched from Fort Sumner, New Mexico at 8 a.m. on August 22nd, 2019. It ascended for 2.5 hours, was at a float altitude of 130,000 feet for 5 hours, and landed in eastern Arizona. During the flight, Bobcat 1 successfully demonstrated cryogen transfer.
So one of the nice things about using the narration function is that as you listen to the narration, you can follow the author's instructions or narrative. You can scroll through the content, open content boxes, open images. So it's a very, very effective tool. In this case, the authors used it rather granularly within the content boxes here.
The balloon-borne cryogenic telescope testbed, Bobcat.
So you can use it to add additional context. You can also use it to make it the poster more accessible for those who may have some visual impairments. Again, this is a great tool to use, especially when we're virtual now and people won't have the opportunity to meet you and listen to you as they would on site. So video and audio are two very important functions. Here's another poster from another conference. There's no limit to the amount of content that you can add to an iPoster. So as soon as the amount of content exceeds what you would see here in this box, it becomes a scrolling box. So again, no limits on that. Use as much content as you find necessary to present your presentation in the detail you think it deserves. And people have, when you're online now, people have time to really dig into it. So don't be afraid to add additional content, more than you would normally do perhaps on site. When you see an image like this, or when you see an image, you click on it, it'll expand to its full size. And full size is 1920 by 1080. It's high definition size. Load large images because they will expand to the full size you load it. If you only load an image that's maybe 300 pixels wide, it will only be 300 pixels wide on this. So the quality of the images that you load will reflect in the quality of the display here. So use large images. They'll automatically resize to fit the content box. So you don't have to worry about that. The system does that part for you. Load big images. Another thing you might have noticed here is that there are some live links. This is another great function, especially again when you're online and want to add more depth to your poster. When you use this on site, it'll actually open in a window within the poster itself. And I might add, just in talking about this, that iPosters are web pages. They're HTML5 web pages that are connected to our database. So all the material you see now is streaming from our databases into the iPoster. And this is the unique identifier of the iPoster. This is the DOI, if you will, of the poster itself. If you've seen iPosters on site, you know that you don't see any of this browser material, so you really can't see the link there. But this is the link which you can share with people, and you'll also find that on your editing template when the time comes. But since we're now viewing this online and the browser tools are available, when you click on this, the external link will open in a separate tab. And use external links for additional documentation, more context. In this case, this is a live data set. Great for that kind of thing because it's constantly updated. It'll continue updating after the conference. So if people should visit your poster, and hopefully they will after the meeting itself, they'll be able to see all of this. And you can, this is just a really great data set. You can go back in time, and as you can see, I believe it's updated as recently as today. We can just continue to scroll this way, January. Yeah, anyway, live data sets are great. any kind of external link adds depth and context to what you're doing. You can see over here that there is a storm moving in on the Florida coast in the form of a GIF. The image formats that we accept are GIFs, JPEGs, and PNGs. Those are the three image formats you can load. You cannot load a PDF. You can't just load a PowerPoint. You need to convert those to either JPEG or PNG. There are quick guides and tutorials about how to do it. It's pretty simply done. You know that from a PDF, you can export the pages if you want from a PowerPoint, and likewise, a PDF can be converted to one of the image formats that we accept. Here's another link. It's a different kind of link. This is to NASA's Short-Term Prediction Research and Transition Center. This isn't a live data set. This is just more information about the center itself. So again, make good use of the possibilities for external links. Down here, you'll see a slideshow. We have two of our templates will allow you to create slideshows. They'll go on an automatic loop, but you can pause it either as a visitor or if you're going to be using this as part of your presentation, and then just click through them at your own pace or as fast as you want. Again, and maybe even particularly for slideshows, as large an image as you can. 1920 by 1080 is great. If you do a smaller image, it's just going to look that big in the content box. So make free use of that. There's a contact author button down here, and this will allow your visitors to send you a message. So during the conference, make sure that you check your email for any incoming messages. But as long as the poster is up, people will be able to contact you this way. We don't expose your email address, so we're going to keep that private. And then it's up to you to contact whoever contacted you to continue the dialogue. Back to narration. There's a narration button that you can do. You can record a narration for the entire poster in the templates. I'll show you how that's done. And when you enable that function, this button will show up. And here you can listen to the narration and follow the author's instructions if the author is doing so, or just listen to the additional context that the author is providing. I'll play a bit of this for you now.
For the first photometric observations and analyses of the totally eclipsing solar type binary TYC 9291 1051-1 CCD bezel BBRI light curves were taken on 9, 20, and 28 August 2019 in remote.
So she's got a general description of the content, and then here at the bottom of each content box, she has additional information that's specific to what's being displayed here.
Discovered by the University of New South Wales, UNSW's extrasolar planet search, the variability of T.
So this is good for everyone, of course, viewing the poster. It's also particularly good for people with certain visual impairments to let them really see what's going on with an audio file. And speaking of seeing with audio, a couple of years ago, we ran into some of your colleagues who were doing some interesting things with radio telescope data. And instead of doing, or in addition to doing visualizations, they were doing sonifications of the data that was coming in. Both as an additional interpretive tool for anyone who was interested in hearing it that way, but also with a specific goal of making the content and the data that's been received more accessible to people, to scientists and astronomers with visual impairments. So again, sound is a great format to use, a great tool, and it's kind of, you got to rethink the idea, because normally if you're presenting a paper or PDF poster, that's not even being considered. Here, it's there to use. So I really encourage that. Back to video, I showed you the balloon sequence. Here's another use of video that's very nice. So it can be just very documentary, or you can have some production value in it. Video is a good tool. So having seen some of the things that you can do with an iPoster and some of the functions that we really encourage you to use, I'll move over to creating an iPoster. And have you, if you've clicked on the link from your letter of invitation, you know that you'll come to a login page like this, where you enter your username and your password and submit it. And while that's loading, I'm going to pull over some content that I'm going to play with. Here's the welcome page. You'll have seen these on your letter of invitation also. We have tutorials, a quick guide, FAQs, and some just basic information about browser and an operative system. We recommend highly working on not using Internet Explorer. It's really getting old, and it's not supporting, Microsoft isn't doing a great job of supporting it, and we've decided that we're not going to support it either. So use Edge, use Chrome. Chrome is really, really good and very, very accessible. But you can also use Firefox and Safari. So Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari are the recommended browsers. The next thing you do, having read through all this information, is you choose your iPoster. If you're creating more than one iPoster, you'll see the three of them, the two or three or however many you're creating, listed down here with the poster title and the abstract ID. Click on the poster that you want to start with. If you only have one poster, you'll come directly to this. We have 6 templates with varying numbers of content boxes and formats. Choose the one that you feel will work with the way that you've conceived of your presentation, and you click on the button there, and the template will load up. You'll find that your poster title is already there. Here you're free to enter your name and your co-authors' names, the institutions. You'll see that in the content boxes we have the ability, you'll have the ability to use superscript and subscript. We don't have that in these 2 fields yet, but we have in the FAQs, there's a link to some functions that will allow you to apply superscript and subscript in these boxes. It's really easy to do. Apologize for the fact that they're not there right now, but we're working on adding them in the next upgrade of the system. But it's easy to do if you just go to that FAQ. The titles of the boxes here, you would just add them yourself, whatever you want. I'll just do some quick ones here. And so on. At any time, you can decide that you want to add a little design to your poster, and we have the Design Your Poster button up here. You click on that, and there are a number of things you can do. You can do very simple things like adding a color gradient. You can add color in the side boxes. You can change your fonts and your text colors, and you can also decide that, I'm not really pleased with it. Let me put this off till later, and you can go back to the default. You can also add an image background by clicking on that. All of the image work is drag and drop. So I have a bunch of images over here. It depends on how you want to work with it, of course, but I like to have the images available here, perhaps the ones that I've already chosen or from which I'll choose. And you just grab the image and drop it in there, and the background image is there. The background image has to be 1920 by 1080. That's the format of the screen. That's the full HD size. And if you want your background to fill that, you've got to use that size.
Rick,
So
sorry to interrupt you. Can you speak up a little bit? We received a request on that.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thanks, Isaac, for that. Sorry. So the for those who missed it, background images need to be full HD size, 1920 by 1080. And then again, you can change the text font here and so on. To create content in the content box, you click on the box, it'll open up. You can add content on the fly like this, but most of you probably will be copying and pasting from all manner of documents, from Word, from PDFs, from PowerPoints, from other websites. I have a little content here on the side. You just copy and paste it into the content box. As I mentioned, there's no limit to the amount of content. So once the content exceeds the physical size of the box, it'll turn into a scrolling box. So don't be afraid to add the content that you feel you need. The formatting tools here are pretty much what one would expect and you're used to in other programs. I can make it bold. I can add some color. I can change paragraph style. I can change fonts. And I can change size, but we have a lower limit on size. The lowest font size we allow is 10 points, and we suggest that you use from 10 to 12 points for your captions. If any of you might have done this when you're creating a paper poster or even a PowerPoint where you've got a fixed size that you have to resort to the smallest possible font size in order to get in all the content you want. Well, with iPosters, you don't have to do that because they scroll. So thus the cutoff at 10. Captions here, 14 points is the default size. It works great on almost every screen. We wouldn't suggest that you change that. It'll work on a mobile telephone. It'll work on a big presentation screen. The larger ones you can use for either emphasis or for doing subtitles within the poster itself. So think about that when you're choosing font size. To add an image, you put your cursor where you want the image to be, click on this insert image button, and then again, you just drag and drop the image in here. You can also search your computer, of course, if you want to go down into subfolders and stuff like that. But the image will load. Again, I'm going to say this over and over, big images, add big images. And we also suggest that if you're going to be loading up tables or diagrams or anything, convert them to images, convert them to big images so that when you enter them here, they will, when a visitor clicks on them, they'll expand to full screen. So I'll just open up the image button again, and I will drag a table in. Now I've got that in there. You can't drag an image directly into the content box. It's going to say, no, no, no. So you always use these tools to add any kind of multimedia content. I mentioned that GIFs are image files. And let's just add a GIF in the middle here. So again, open the image and you drag your GIF in, and now we've got a GIF going around there. If you want to add a link to an external website, you mark the text or the image that you want to link to. Here's the link button. You click on that, And I have a couple of sites here where we can, here's a data set. You just copy the URL and paste the URL in here, and you've got a link, and then you can just add a little emphasis and a little color to bring it out. So that's the link, and any content on any HTML site you can link to. So if I were to, let's say over here, just add a little more text, and I will add a link here, and click on the link button, and here's a visualization on another website. So we've got a link there, and I'll add a little color there. If you want to add a video, you decide where you want to put it. Here's the add video button. As I mentioned, you can link to, we use YouTube and Vimeo. We have the tutorials, how you restrict it and all that. And you just copy the URL from either of those two programs. And let's add that over here. If you have videos on other sites, what you can do is use the link button instead and link to that video site. So, and that's what I've done here. You'll see that this is actually a video that I've linked to on another site. So that is that. If you want to use equation or math formula, we have Latex function up here. So you just type in your base formula here and click on OK. It'll load up. You can increase the size of it. And now we've got the formula there. And finally, as you can see here, this is hiding the part of the template, and you can close this content box here in order to be able to see the entire template. And I just want to show you how the audio tool works. This is the add audio symbol. And now I'm adding an audio within the content box. So this would be either, some kind of documentation audio, or it could be a narration specific to the content of that box. Here I've got the narration. Most people will do their narrations on their mobile phones. And that'll work very well, but we strongly suggest that you use a microphone to do it, that you don't stand on a busy street corner to do it. Find a room that's got good acoustics, write a script, practice it, and then load it up, just to make it easy to listen to and effective. So now we've got the audio over there. And down here, there are two templates that have the ability to include a slideshow. And when you choose one of these templates, you'll see that you have a choice here also. You can choose this to be a regular text field, which will respond exactly like these. You can add images, text, whatever you want. Or you can make it a straight image slider or slideshow. So when you click on that, you'll see this upload image button appear. I'm just going to reveal the images again. You click on that and you'll come up to this familiar tool. Down here in small print, you'll see permitted file types, PNG, GIF, JPEG, and then images larger than 1920 wide and 1080 will automatically be scaled down. So you don't have to be afraid of loading a larger image. Just try not to load a smaller one. And of course, depending upon the resolution of the image, you might be loading up a vertical image in which 1080 would be the limit, or you might be loading up a very narrow image where it's 1920, but it's only 1,000 or 800 high. But the limits vertically and horizontally are the 1080 and the 1920. Anyway, you would just drag an image in there like that. So now we have one image. To get the next image, you click again on this, and you will, let's see, there's another image. So now you can see we've got 2 images here, and so on. You can load up to 10 images in the box. Let's drag and drop that in there. So now we've got 3 images. If you want to change the order of them, you just move them around like this. And that's all done. So those are the major multimedia tools that you have in here. I'll just open this again to repeat. You've got the images, JPEG, GIF, and PNG. You can link to videos. You can link to sound files. You can include formulas. Here you've got just a symbol set. So you've got a whole bunch of different symbol sets that you can choose from. I didn't actually add any of these. And then here we have a very simple chart tool for creating charts. But quite honestly, if you're going to do a chart, I would recommend you doing it in another program. You could do it in Excel, for example, export it as a diagram or a chart, export it as large as possible, and insert it as an image. But this is a standby. If you just want to insert a quick chart here, you can do that. And then you can choose the kind also, but they won't expand. So we've got that, and I'm just going to open this. When you're looking at it this way, you're not really seeing the way your poster is going to look when it's viewed online. So we've got the preview button over here. Use preview to check your work. Use preview to practice your presentation also if you're going to be doing an iPoster Plus presentation. It'll give you exactly the same functionality that you're going to have when you're actually presenting it. So here's the poster, and look for typos. Make sure that the content boxes are expanding when you click on them, that the images are expanding when you click on them, that your GIFs are GIFing. Your charts, again, make them as large as you can so that you can examine them in more detail. Here's that link that I loaded up. So when I click on this, make sure that it's going to the right page. And here's the video. Is the video playing, and is it expanding?
Welcome to the SSC S-Range Space Station, Kiruna, Sweden.
This is a cool
145
video,
kilometers
by the way.
above
They did
the
it in
Arctic Circle.
360 degrees.
Here, teams of highly skilled engineers and scientists from around the globe assemble the Maxis 9 payload in preparation for the final integration test.
Sorry about that. So we've got that. Let me go back to preview again. So we've checked out. Here's the slideshow. When you see the slideshow unexpanded, it crops the pictures, so you'll just see a bit of it. And in this form, it's more of trying to attract attention. It's going to loop automatically. It's not until you open the slideshow like this that you'll see the full images. So don't worry if you just see that letterbox of the slides. Here they're full. As you can see, these images are going up as far as you can in the vertical format. So I haven't loaded ones that are fully HD, but you can do that. And then you can pause it if you're going to be using this as part of your presentation again, pause it, and then just click through yourself as you're using the presentation. If you wanted, for example, to have parts of a PowerPoint presentation in here, you could export your slides as JPEGs and then import them in here if you want to do that kind of presentation. You can, and we have a tutorial about how do you transfer a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation to an iPoster, you can't just drop it in and have it work. You've got to selectively export the images and the texts into these content boxes. Goes very quickly if you want to do it. I just want to recommend that since these are all connected to our databases, and databases are searchable, texts in databases are searchable, images only to the extent that you add an alt title on the image. So if you're going to be transferring content from another document or like a PDF or a PowerPoint, we recommend that you copy the text and insert it as text in the iPoster so that the content is searchable. And then in terms of images, either export them from your PDF or PowerPoint. Best would be to go back to the original source so you get a high quality image as large as possible. But you could also export it, just save it as an image onto your desktop. Here also you can see that the narration file has also transferred here. Going back to the iPoster, we looked at design and we designed the iPoster somewhat. This is the narration button for you to do a narration for the entire iPoster. So when you click on this, you'll be able to load up a file, MP3 format, and we have an FAQ and a quick guide on how to transfer. If you're possibly recording in another format, there's a converter which we have that you can use to get it to MP3. And then either if you've done it on your phone, you send it over to your computer. If you've done it on your computer, of course, it's there. And then you just drag the file in here, and that signals that the narration is now on your iPoster. Here are some additional buttons that will appear at the bottom of the poster. If you want to add a CV of yourself, some information about your team, and information about your institution, you can add that here. You would, again, copy and paste the text in, but you can use all kinds of multimedia tools. You can add images, you can add sound files, you can add videos, you can add anything in these boxes that you can in the regular poster, that you're in the rest of the poster. And as I add these, buttons will appear at the bottom of the poster. This is for your abstract. Actually, I can't remember if you're going to be preloading abstracts for the authors or not. Rita, yeah, yes, Debbie says yes. So yeah, so this will be preloaded. And I'll show you what it'll look like when it's added. Let's say that, we'll call that an abstract. If you want to add any disclosures about your funders, thank your sponsors, you would add it there. Here's where you add your references. If you don't have enough boxes here and you want to have these extra, particularly references, here you can add a lot of extra material and save content boxes for other uses. So here are references, and then if your references are online, again, use the link button and just add a URL to the reference itself. So let's add a URL here, turn that into a live reference, and add that there. We have a chat. It's a simple chat that will, once you create your chat, it'll appear on the bottom of the poster. I'll show you what that looks like. Here you enter your time. And this is live long after the conference, so you can keep chatting away, and then you pick your day. Let's make it tomorrow. You can change the message here, add additional message information, and you save your settings, and there'll be a chat button at the bottom of your poster. A couple of the other buttons that you have here, actually, let me just show you something else first. Over here, you can add the logo of your institution, the logo or logos of your institutions. And I can just drag, I go logo here. Again, you just drag it and drop it. It looks small on your poster, but once it's seen on the screen, it'll be larger. This is a fixed size, however, because as the titles of posters grow long, we don't want to squeeze them out. So the logo is small here, but if you wanted to have a larger logo and more information, again, go back to author info and put the bigger logo and logos here. And you can add additional logos down here. Let's see, there we go. So we got a couple of logos on this side. If you want to add a logo, you click on the upload logo button. If you want to remove a logo, you click here. So now I've only got two. So sometimes it's easy to confuse the two. Load up here, and I'll put that back in again. And then closing the menu up here on the right, you can load images of yourselves and your co-authors. And I've got some here, so I'll just drag and drop a few in to show you what it looks like. And it's the same thing here. Click on the button to load. Click on the image if you want to delete it. The third one here. There we go. So opening this, taking a look at the preview button again, we'll see that we've loaded a whole bunch of additional content. Here we go. So here's, and these will loop. So there'll be a little slideshow playing up here. The logos will also loop. Here we've got the chat information. When the chat time comes on the gallery screen and you open it, when the 10 minutes prior to the chat, you'll see join chat. And you'll also see that, let me just go back to the iPoster gallery. This button will be active and you'll be able to see the presentations with chat, and you'll also see which chats are live. So we've got those things, and then we've got the disclosures, and we have the abstracts. This is the narration button. You're going to hear my voice here, so don't be confused. I'm not going to talk anymore, so you can listen to the narration.
If you've ever used a computer to create a document or a presentation, you'll find it easy to create a multimedia iPoster.
So that's the narration, and then all of these others that are here. Here's the references. Here's the link in the references, which will open in a new tab and show you the page that you're going to. So that's all available also for you. There are a few other buttons here that are of interest. Image Gallery will show you all of the images that you've loaded so far. So here are the images that I have in the poster. And this can be useful if you decide that you want to, you accidentally delete, or you're trying different things with images. You're deleting some, you're adding some. Even if you delete the image, it'll still remain in your gallery. So you can always enter it again. Some authors like to do their image work in a way different from what I've just done. I've opened the content boxes and kind of added the images as I go along. You can also do it so that you start by loading all the images that you know you want to use to the image gallery. So you click on the upload button here, and then again, you just drag and drop. So I'll just drag, this is a image of a satellite, this image here, which is new now in the image gallery. But what you would do then, if you preload all of your images, is that again, you would go here, you would choose where you want the image to be inserted, and you click on the add image, and then you go to the image gallery, and here's the image. So you just mark the image here, say OK, and now you put the image in that way. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. It's really a question of just working style, whichever you prefer to do. And of course, you can combine them both if you'd like. The support buttons that we will send you on the letter of invitation, on the reminders that you'll be getting, and that you saw when you first logged in, all of the links are here also. If we were to look at just the FAQ, it'll open up in a separate tab. We've got their frequently asked questions, but the most popular frequently asked questions are listed here. The number one popular question is, can I upload a PowerPoint or a PDF directly to an iPoster? It says that, well, no, you really can't, but it will show you how to transfer the content. And then with a little reminder down here that you can have so much more than a PDF or a PowerPoint. So remember to load up videos, sound files, etc. So that is, all of those links are possible here. If you need any help, we have a support desk that we're very proud of, and we'll help you however we can. Check the FAQs first, because it's very likely that you're going to find your answer there. You can also check our quick guide, which goes through all of the aspects of making a poster, all of the functions in the toolbars. Check that out. But if you still need help, contact us. Click on this button, fill in your name, your conference, important to the right AAS 236, phone, whatever else, and your message, and we'll get back to you and help you out on that. So don't be shy about contacting us, but just contact us about iPosters. If you have any other questions, Rita and Sherry are there at AAS to help you with all the other questions about the meeting. Template settings is an interesting thing for the templates that have a choice of either slider or a regular text box. Here you can reset this box. So if you decide that you really don't want to have the slideshow, but you'd rather just go back to the regular text box, you click on this and now you're back here. So, and then you can still, if you want to, if you regret it, but you can go back here and choose text field, and then it'll just respond like any of those text boxes. If you want a hard copy of your iPoster, if you want to convert it to a PDF, you can use the print poster button. And let me go to a poster to show you how that works. If you're going to do a PDF of a normal PDF or a normal page, it would be fairly easy to do, because a PDF is just a snapshot of the surface of this page. But with an iPoster, if you do a PDF of it, a standard PDF, you're going to miss all of the content that's below the scroll line here. So when you print a PDF, an iPoster to PDF, it will turn it into a document. And what we do is that we extract all of the content of each of the content boxes and display them here linearly. So here's all the content in that box. We're not carrying over any of the colors or any of the other kind of formatting you've done. You can see what it looked like up here, but this is purely to have a hard copy of your work. The links, as you see here, you'll see what the links are. So you can go to the external links. You'll see the URLs of the videos, but really it's mainly for just having a hard copy. Your iPosters are going to be on almost forever. I think we decided until our planet is swallowed by a black hole. And at that point, it might disappear, but then even the PDF will disappear, so it doesn't really matter at all. So that's the print iPoster button. Share iPoster, what it does is it gives you the URL of the poster, which you can also see up here. And this you can share, you can copy it into an email, you can share it on Facebook, you can do whatever you want, share it with your co-authors. And then we have a My Settings button down here. There are two basic things you can do here. One is that the default email that the contact author is sent to is the email address with which you've registered at AAS. If you would like the contact author request to go to another email, your personal Gmail or whatever, just add that address here. And that will mean that those contact requests will go there. However, you will still be receiving any reminders from us or from the AAS Secretariat directly to the email address with which you've registered. Statistics, here you can see how many people have viewed your poster, and this will be updated in real time. Here you can see a list of the visitors that clicked on that Get iPoster button and were required to add their email address. So you'll see that here. And here you'll also see all of your contact requests with the name, email address, and message. As I mentioned, you'll be getting that in your email, at your email anyway, in your email box. But we found that there are times that authors will accidentally delete some emails, and among them contact requests, so you can retrieve them all here. So that's the way that works. Here's the publishing date that Isaac mentioned earlier. And you can look up here, actually, we'll use this as a message board if there's anything else you might want to know. For example, as the conference approaches, at some point, we're going to shut down the site for maintenance, hopefully when everybody's asleep. But if you're a night owl, you might notice that you can't get in. But this will give you some advance notice of that. So check the message board. The publish button, the publishing date is the 25th of May. We use that, we like to have all the posters published because we're going to be cleaning up the databases. As mentioned, you'll be probably copying and pasting from all kinds of documents and websites. And there's always a risk that some malicious code gets in there, creeps in, something that nobody can see. We're scrubbing the databases and looking for that. That's one of the prime reasons we want that to hold that deadline. However, even after the deadline, you can continue to publish your poster. So any changes you make will be updated on the poster directly. You don't need to publish your poster again, but please get as much as you can up by the deadline so that we can make sure that everything works really well during the meeting itself. And once published, this goes dark. Up here, one other thing is if you're creating more than one poster, you'll see all the posters for which you've been authorized up here, and you can toggle back and forth and choose the content, the template for the next one, and then just toggle between your presentations. So that's the way that works. And let's see, here we go. Back to there. So I think I've covered pretty much everything that needs to be covered. Isaac, do you have anything that?
Yeah, so I think we should. Yeah, that was excellent. So I think we should mention just briefly that an iPoster will be presented in a session where the attendees will browse the gallery and ask questions by initiating chats with the iPoster authors who are scheduled for that session. And on the other hand, we have an iPoster Plus presentation. The iPoster Plus presentations will use the iPoster format as your slide deck, but you will be presenting as an oral presentation. So we encourage you to attend the speaker prep webinars scheduled later this month. I think my colleagues at AAS have more info, but that was just a brief rundown of the differences between an iPoster Plus and a regular iPoster. Claudio Mendoza had a question: is publishing final, or can we publish a second time? Claudio, to answer your question, you can only publish once. That effectively sends your iPoster to the iPoster gallery, the AAS 236 iPoster gallery. If you want to make changes to your published iPoster, you don't have to republish. In fact, you can't republish. Just make your changes, correct your typos and dot your I's, and then click save, and the published version will be replaced by the newly saved version. And to answer Joel Green, are these poster chats in text or verbal? Rick, I don't know. Are we going to have audio or just text?
Yeah. So right now they're text to text, but our plan is that prior to the conference itself, we're going to have an upgrade of the chat function so that questions are still submitted by text, but the author can answer verbally and vocally and just explain more. So that's in the works now. It's in developing, and we should have it done by the time that the conference is done. So it's half and half. We just figured that for someone who's presenting, it's enough to have to manage looking at the questions coming in and responding to the text questions, but it can get really complicated to try and manage microphones and stuff like that. So we're keeping the questions as to text.
Great, thanks. And in regards to the preloaded abstracts already placed there on the templates, I know Sean Lewis had that problem, Jennifer, Taylor, Viba. We're going to look into that right after this webinar and rectify the issue immediately. So right, yeah, I see. A lot of people are having that issue. So we'll look into it and correct it. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Debbie had a question about changing the dates so people can unpublish their poster. Rita, could you open Debbie's mic? Because I'm not sure. Maybe I can.
Yes, I'm opening it up now.
Okay, great.
1 second. All clear, Debbie.
I do know that sometimes people want to unpublish their iPoster beyond the meeting.
Right.
I wasn't sure, Rick, sorry if you had covered that.
Yeah, no, I hadn't. Thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. If your information is either quarantined or because you're going to be publishing in a journal and you don't want it to be on site, just contact us and we will unpublish you so that you don't have to risk either the ire of your journal or the ire of your superiors for having that available. Thanks, Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions from anybody?
So I just want to remind everybody that you are scheduled in an iPoster session, and those will be happening for an hour in the afternoon. But that does not mean that you can't schedule your own chat sessions and invite people to attend those and do a presentation yourself. Take advantage of the narration feature so that people are browsing the gallery on their own, that it'll feel like they're with you and that you're taking them through the highlights of your iPoster. A lot of people do browse the iPosters before the meeting and after the meeting and take their time through them. So having that opportunity to hear you presented is really valuable. And that's why the iPoster Plus sessions are also a really good opportunity. You get more time than in a regular oral session. During an iPoster Plus, you actually have 10 minutes to do your presentation. So know that you'll want to prepare an oral presentation for 10 minutes using the iPoster as your background. And all those iPoster pluses will also be available in all the galleries.
Yeah, so the word of the day is narration. Okay, Rita, I guess that's it from us.
Wonderful. I suppose we don't have any more questions. If you all do still have questions, please check out our tools and resources site. If you visit the AAS.org website, you'll see 236, lots of information available for you there. You'll also see the tools and resources tab listed on the left-hand side of the page. We'll have more up-to-date information. This recording, if you know anyone who did not attend today's session, this recording will be made available there as well. Some of the questions you all asked were great. I'm going to add them to that page as well with your answers. So thank you all for coming today, and have a wonderful Thursday.
Great, thanks all. Look forward to seeing your contributions.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.